This is the plaintiff, Hy-Vee Cividil. He says he and the defendant agreed to share a vehicle. And unbeknownst to him, the guy was a scofflaw who had $1,800 worth of unpaid tickets. The car ended up getting towed and was impounded. Since the fines weren't paid, the car was sold off, and the defendant is fully responsible. And he is owed $4,884.79, the value of the car plus fees. This is the defendant, John Delgado. He says the plaintiff's license was suspended, and he couldn't drive his car, so the guy registered it in his name. The plaintiff, in fact, coaxed him into registering it for him. He told the plaintiff he had prior tickets. He didn't seem to care at the time, and here they are. He's accused of letting a friend down. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $4,600 for missing soccer equipment.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says he and a friend shared a car, but the defendant got lots of tickets and the car got towed. The defendant says the plaintiff knew about the tickets and did it because the plaintiff couldn't register the car in his name. It's the case of your ticket to small claims court.
Mr. Cividil, you are suing John Delgado for $4,884.79, the value of a car plus all of your expenses that, according to you, got towed thanks to him. You are counterclaiming $4,600, the value of soccer equipment that was in it when it got towed, and your lost profits because you couldn't work because his car got towed. Okay, what happened?
Your Honor, around March 2015, I approached John Delgado about registering my car because I was in the middle of taking an LSAT exam. I know at that
Why
time,
does he have to register your car? Because you're in the middle of taking your law school entrance exam.
I didn't have use of the car. I didn't need it. I was going to be moving around for about 3 months or so. And I knew that with his being out of work at the time, and he had 2 young kids, it was the middle of winter. I figured if he took the car, it would benefit him.
What was in it for you?
Well, it would keep my car from sitting on the street in the middle of winter.
So because you were studying for the law school entrance exam, and only because you were studying for the law school, you wanted someone driving your car around so it wouldn't just be sitting out there? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and plus it could help him out with his family.
There was nothing in it for you, and because you're so kind that you wanted to help him out. Was your license suspended?
No, it wasn't, not at the time.
Was your license ever suspended?
It didn't get suspended until June of 2015.
It didn't get, did you know it was going to get suspended?
No, I did not.
What was it suspended for?
I had a DUI.
Well, then how did you not know it was going to get suspended? That's part of the penalty for the DUI.
I hadn't got the judgment. The judgment isn't going to be rendered until November 12th.
What was your reason for registering your own car in some other guy's name?
I wanted to help him out. He's a friend of mine. I've been knowing him for a long time.
What was the reason that he told you that he wanted to register his car in your name? Because I have been at this a long time, and people don't usually do it because they're just so generous. Is he your boyfriend?
No.
Okay. What reasoning did he give you for proposing this?
That he was unable to register a car because of his license. And I know through New York State, you cannot register a vehicle if you have a suspended or revoked license.
So he knew this was coming up, and he wanted to be able to keep the car on the road. So then what happens? You pick him, and how do you pick him?
I've been knowing him for a long time. We used to live in the same apartment building. I was the godfather to his daughters, and I knew that I wasn't going to be driving. So I suggested to him, John, take the car, get to work, drive your kids to school, and when the winter's over, my license is cleared up.
Were you two close friends?
At one time, yes.
So when you decide to do that, why do you do it? What's in it for you?
I mentioned to Mr. Cividil that...
The fact that you could use the car? Is that what was in it for you?
That I could use the vehicle to get to different locations for my coaching. It was an opportunity for me to get a promotion.
What kind of coaching?
It's coaching soccer.
All right, so now you put it in his name, and do you guys ever, apparently you had tons of unpaid tickets.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're like the last guy who anybody should be putting their car in their name. Did you tell him you had unpaid tickets?
Yes.
Did you tell him how many?
Yes.
What did you tell him exactly?
I mentioned to him that I had outstanding tickets, maybe upwards of $1,300.
Okay, did he tell you that?
$2,013.
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
What did he tell you?
He said, I have one ticket that's due in New Rochelle because he had a prior car that got towed. It was for $80.
So how many tickets did he tell you he had due?
One for $80 in New Rochelle, which we went and paid on the 6th of April.
Are there any texts between the two of you talking about this one ticket? Or how many tickets?
No.
Did you have a handle on how many tickets you had?
Well,
Because I can't
knew how
imagine that if a guy is trying to propose this to you and you said, oh, I got thousands of dollars in tickets, I imagine he's going to go to the next guy. That's kind of what no, don't thank me, because what you're doing is disgusting. You're not supposed to register your car in somebody else's name. If your license is suspended, suck it up. And then you just go through your suspension, and you can't drive your car during the suspension. That's the idea. But I can't imagine that someone who's maneuvering and canoodling behind the scenes to try to fix things the way he wants them is going to say, oh, yeah, no, you're still my guy. Thousands of dollars in tickets, you're still my guy. I just can't imagine that.
so I mentioned to him that I had
He's
the
going to ignore me.
tickets.
Just going to ignore everything I just said.
$1,300.
Why would
in tickets.
anybody, if you told them that you had $1,300 of unpaid tickets, say, I still want you to register the car in your name? You know what happens when you have unpaid tickets, right? Eventually, they're going to impound your car, right?
Yes.
Okay. See, what it seems to me is that maybe you weren't totally honest about how many tickets you had.
I did tell him how many tickets I had.
You told them you had $1,300 in tickets.
Yes. We called the DMV to find out if the previous tickets would hold up a registration of a vehicle under my name. DMV said no.
No, why would it hold it up? Are you kidding me? Now they got an asset to pay the tickets.
Okay.
They can't wait. Go, but register away. Boom, and how long did that last? How long after it was registered in his name?
5 days, Your Honor.
5 days. Yeah, man, that's kind of asking the fox, are you going to eat me? Like you can't, come on. So 5 days, and how come? What'd you do? Was the car in your, did you park the car when it was towed?
No, he parked the car.
He parked the car.
On April 17th.
Is that accurate?
No, ma'am, it's not.
According to you, he had possession.
Yes, ma'am.
And according to you, he parked it inappropriately.
Yes.
Where was the car towed from? Because one of you is a bold-faced liar.
It was not parked inappropriately.
Well, how do you know where it was parked if he was the guy who parked it?
Because I went to talk to him about the car, asked him where it was. I went there. He said it's over there. I went there. The car was booted, and it had a notice on it. I took the notice off. I called the marshals, and they said, this Mr. Delgado has $1,800 worth of tickets.
$1,800?
$1,800. And as of this day, April the 23rd, the fees at that time were up to $2,200.
You know how hard you have to work to get $1,800 of unpaid tickets?
I would love to explain it if...
Yeah, I'm dying to know how you got $1,800 of unpaid tickets and let a guy put his car in your name. Go ahead.
These tickets that I got were in 2012. Mm-hmm. And out of the 10 tickets that were outstanding...
10 tickets outstanding. Did you hear the
Yes,
gasp? Did you hear the collective gasp in the audience behind you? Go ahead.
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Out of the 10 tickets, 8 of them are for a inspection sticker that had expired.
Geez,
So-
maybe you should have gotten the inspection sticker, and because apparently they count as tickets.
Probably.
Yeah.
I probably should have done something about it.
I went to this is from your answer to the complaint. I went to various DMVs to get information on if there would be a hold on my registration. Mm-hmm. The DMV of New York City said I could register the car, but I needed to have release forms for the previous car. So I went to New Rochelle, where my car was previously registered to have my plates released. So apparently you're doing all this before or after you put the car in your name? This is before.
This is before. We both went to New Rochelle, and here's the receipt to release my tickets.
Did you go to a DMV in New Rochelle to have him release plates and all that?
To get his release of his license.
So you knew that there were all these, you know that there's issues.
That's not true. We went to New Rochelle because the car that he owned before he got my car was the one they towed.
Yeah, but why did you need a release?
Because he couldn't register my car.
Ah, okay. What efforts did you take in order to find out what tickets he had?
I asked him, and that was it.
And that was it. All right. So what ends up happening? The car ends up getting booted, and then he has to pay his tickets.
No.
But he doesn't have the money to pay his tickets.
No, the car got booted, towed, and auctioned.
And therefore, $1,800 cost you $4,600, because now you are suing for what? You're suing for what you say is the Kelley Blue Book value of your car.
Yes.
What's travel expenses?
I spent $126 per month on Metro cards after my car got towed.
And they're for what? He's got to pay for your transportation for the rest of your life? Like, when do you have to do something? Registration,
I'm not
title,
sure.
and plate
I'm not
fee,
sure. Are you
insurance,
asking a
license.
question?
What's the license release fee? The $80 that you paid, that you told me about in New Rochelle for him?
Yes.
And what's $37 inspection?
That's the inspections for the state of New York. I have the receipt.
And
here.
why is he going to pay that? You mean you want every penny you ever put in your car back?
Yes.
Basically? Oh, okay. You know the Blue Book
He got
value
it
for your
towed.
car is
I didn't get it
$1,000,
towed.
right?
Excuse me?
The Blue Book value for your car is $1,000, not $3,000. Where did you get $3,000?
That's the estimate I got.
Oh, let me see it.
I don't have it on paper.
Ah, okay. Well, why don't you just say $10,000? Now, your counterclaim against him, $3,100, $1,400 in soccer equipment. Tell me about that. You said earlier that he was using the car that day. So why is your soccer equipment in there if that's your job and you need it?
I work
Maybe
on
you
the
were the one who parked it that day.
April 20th is actually a Wednesday. So I worked the weekend before that.
And then you gave the car back to him with $1,400 worth of someone else's equipment?
We're sharing the vehicle, so I had no reason to believe that the equipment in the vehicle would be
Okay,
taken.
so tell me your version. You're not suing him because the city took it. You're suing him because you think he has it?
Yes.
How do you know? Did he ever tell you he had the soccer equipment?
No, he did not tell me.
Did he tell somebody else he had the soccer
Yes,
equipment?
he did.
Who did he tell?
He mentioned to the owners of the soccer organization that he had the merchandise.
Do you have an affidavit from them?
The only thing I have is an email sent from the owner.
Okay, let me see that. Did you not know that when you have $1,800 in unpaid tickets, the city's going to boot you and tow you?
No, I didn't.
And impound
I didn't
you?
realize that. No.
Seriously?
Seriously, I did not realize that.
I spoke to the gentleman on the phone, and he told me he had the equipment, and he would return the equipment to us if we gave him his money. How did you have the equipment?
I didn't have the equipment.
But did you say you did?
No, I didn't. I told him I knew the equipment was being in the car, which was towed.
Yeah, that's not what the guy says. I mean, that's what's natural is that the equipment was in the car is towed. Let me ask you a question. If the equipment's all in the trunk from the weekend, why don't you go to the trunk and get the equipment out?
There's no reason for me to remove the equipment out of the car
Is
because
there any reason for you to do anything that's sane? No reason. Why would we worry?
I'm dealing with someone who I trusted at that
And what,
time.
you thought he would pony up the $1,800?
No, I did not. I'm just trying to explain my
I don't care
side
how
of
many
the
times you try to
story.
explain. I'm not getting answers to the questions that I think are pertinent.
Okay.
I don't want to just hear you talk.
No
You
problem.
think I want to just hear you talk? You
No,
know
ma'am.
you have $1,800 in tickets. And then your answer for why you didn't get the soccer stuff out of the trunk is because you thought you were dealing with someone you could trust. I don't even know what that means. There's a boot on it. The city of New York is taken over. There's a boot on it. It's not his boot. So how is it that you don't, with the car right there and $1,400, they should fire you. Of course they fired you because they never got the equipment back. Did they ever file a police report? If it's true that he said, I got it, and I'm not returning it until you guys pay for my car, soccer team, then how come this guy doesn't call the police right away and file a police report?
I'm glad you asked me that.
Are you?
Yes.
Because what's the answer? Did somebody file a police
I went
report?
to the police department. I said that my car was booted at this location, and when I went to it, some soccer equipment that I had there that I used for my classes is not there. They said, well, what
Not
happened?
where?
Not in the vehicle.
Wait, did you go to the impound lot and they let you search the vehicle?
Yes, I
Okay,
have the
and
receipt
then when
for
you
that.
went, there was no soccer
The
equipment.
only thing that was in the vehicle was this blue billfold I have for the insurance card, some other papers.
Did they tell you
a
that
shovel.
somebody else had been there?
So, should the plaintiff get the money for the tickets, or should he be thrown out of court for being shady?
You should get thrown out of court for being shady, because, like, bitch, bye.
Well, except the defendant got the tickets and shouldn't have, and the car got towed.
Yeah, but if the car's in his name, then it's his car.
That's a really good point. Solid point going inside the courtroom.
They said that nobody else had accessed the vehicle after the car was towed. So when the car was
So
towed,
it would have been before the car was towed,
Yeah.
if you think he's got it?
yes, I would believe so.
The owner of the team, did he ever call the police?
He didn't call the police because We both have access to the vehicle. So the police precinct told me that because he has access to the vehicle, meaning another key, then it's not stealing.
That's ridiculous. It either belongs to you or it doesn't. You know, if my roommate has access to the apartment, but if my roommate takes my television set, they've stolen it. I don't know what that means. I mean, I don't doubt that they told you that. I'm just saying that they're nuts, and I don't know how it is that the owner of the team doesn't call the police.
Well, also connected to that whole situation is we go to the finance department. I meet him. I mentioned to him that I have most of the paperwork. I only have $1,000. I still need to
How much money were you supposed to have?
I was supposed to have at least $1,400, but I thought $1,000 would be enough to get on a payment plan. They said no. He comes to meet me. I let him know the situation. He got upset. He sucker punched me, knocked me to the ground.
He sucker punched you right there?
Yes, right in front of the information desk. It's a federal building.
Were the police called?
I have a police complaint form,
Let me see that.
and I also have something that indicates I tried to do some other legal stuff. So after he punched me, I fell to the ground. He told me to give him the paperwork back. I said, no, I'm not. Then he said some other things about my kids as he left the building. I go into the sheriff's department right next, not even next door, it's actually in the same facility. I go in there, I fill out the complaint, they laugh me out of the building.
Where did the punch land?
He got to hit me.
Did he break your glasses?
No, he didn't break my glasses, but I fell to the ground.
Okay.
They have everything on tape, but they wouldn't release the tape. I don't know what was going on.
Did the police go speak to the personnel there to hear their side, to see what they saw?
No, ma'am.
Did you hit him?
No, Your Honor. This is one of the greatest fabrications ever.
Is it? Because the police report says assault, and then it says, in parentheses, accused seen on CCTV attacking complainant.
Right, but there was no punch landed. What happened, Mr. Gatto snatched the registration from my hand, and I went to snatch it back. He never was hit. He never went to the hospital. Police never got in contact with me. The sheriffs never got in contact with me. It's a total fabrication, and it just goes along with the rest of his irresponsible acts. He's trying.
What about your irresponsible acts?
Well, I'm not sure what mine are. I'll be
You
honest with
don't? You want me to list them for you?
Yes, please.
Okay, I will. Number one, when your license is suspended, find another place for your car to be besides on the streets, because you're not allowed to have the car.
I did have that.
No. That doesn't mean registered in somebody else's name and share the car with them.
No, but I had it in another
stop talking.
place.
Number two, pick the right person, which means do a public records check to find out if the guy has tickets, okay? Number three, if you do in fact have that soccer equipment and are depriving little kids of soccer equipment, that would be really, really horrible. And we have an email from the owner of the team saying that that's what you told him. So those are, so far off the top of my head, those are the three things that are leaving a sour taste in my mouth. Let's talk about the case.
Your Honor, ma'am.
No, we're done. Done. Stick a fork in me. I am done. I have a car that the Blue Book value is not $3,000, as you say. The Blue Book value in good condition is $1,100. I have you suing for travel expenses because apparently he needs to support your travel from now on because you don't have a car. I have you suing for registration, title, plate fee, insurance, and inspection, which is all of the things that you put into the car before him because now you don't have a car because you picked the wrong person to have it in his name. I have you saying to me that you told him that you had $1,800 in tickets. I've got you claiming to me that your only reason for registering it in his name is because you're such a magnanimous guy and you weren't going to be traveling anyway because of your law school entrance exams. That worries me. That worries me as a judge. That A, you would think I'm stupid enough to buy that, and that B, you would cook that up to say in court under oath if you're truly going to be a lawyer. I'm just aghast. I'm stunned at everybody's conduct. You deserve each other. You know what? I find it to be a wash. Because even if I was going to order him to pay you the value of the car, which I'm not sure I would, the value of the punch and the soccer equipment is more or less the same amount. And because I feel that it is so distasteful what was going on between the two of you to begin with, I really don't feel a compulsion to see a victim here between either one of you. I call it a wash.
All right, so plaintiff's out here in the hallway. Judge says shady deal, shady story. It's a wash.
Well, it was a comedy show, actually. It was not a wash. It's a comedy show, and he got away with being irresponsible. That's what I really.
Well, you think somebody else would find differently? Yeah. The whole story is a little shady.
But the whole story on my side is true.
What about holding the soccer
this was a comedy
equipment
show.
hostage for the kids?
Well, none of that's ever been proven.
Did it happen?
Never happened.
Okay.
Thanks,
Right
Doctor.
around the corner this way. All right, so step on in here, and what's your reaction on this outcome now? You heard what happened.
I have no comment. I'm just surprised at the verdict, that's all.
What do you find surprising about it? Kind of shady activity on both sides.
Well, I know what happened, and I tried to explain that to the judge, but she didn't really see my side of the story, so.
All right, send it to the street in Harvey.
Okay, we've talked about this before. This is a case where it's called unclean hands, where the plaintiff can't come into court being shady and dirty and then ask the judge for justice.